What if I told you that in certain parts of the world, women don't just have one husband, but 2, 3, or even more? While polygamy, where a man has multiple wives, is widely known, polyandry, where one woman has multiple husbands, is far less talked about. Imagine living in a society where brothers share a wife, where marriage is based on survival rather than romance, and where a woman is the head of the household while men take on secondary roles. Sounds unbelievable, right? But these traditions are real and still exist today in remote parts of the world. So, why do these cultures embrace polyandry? How do these relationships function? And what challenges do they face in modern times? Stay with us as we take a deep dive into some of the most unusual and rare marriage customs on the planet. The rarity of polyandry, a practice unlike any other. Polyandry is one of the rarest marriage systems in human history, practiced by only a few societies. But why is it so uncommon? Unlike polygamy, which allows men to have multiple wives for reasons like religious beliefs, social status, and wealth, polyandry is driven by survival, land preservation, and economic necessity. In societies where resources are extremely scarce, land needs to stay within families to prevent division. The male population is higher than the female population. Polyandry becomes a practical solution rather than a romantic choice. But which cultures practice it? Let's explore the most well-known polyandrous societies. Polyandry in Tibet and Nepal, the system of fraternal marriage. In the mountains of Tibet and Nepal, there exists an age-old tradition known as fraternal polyandry, where one woman marries multiple brothers. But why brothers? The reason: land and survival. In these harsh, high-altitude regions, survival is tough. The land is rocky, the weather is unpredictable, and farming is the primary livelihood. If each brother were to marry separately, their small family land would be divided into smaller, unsustainable plots. By sharing a wife, brothers ensure that the land remains intact, food resources are shared, and the family remains economically stable. How does it work? The eldest brother is usually the main husband, taking responsibility for managing the household. The younger brothers are also considered equal husbands, but they contribute by farming, herding animals, and supporting the family. All the children are raised as a single family, and biological paternity isn't emphasized. Every man in the marriage is considered the child's father. Does jealousy exist? One of the most common questions people ask is, do the husbands fight over the wife? Surprisingly, jealousy is not as common as you might expect. Since the brothers grew up together, they are already used to sharing everything, including responsibilities. However, conflicts do arise when younger brothers start to question the system. Some choose to leave the marriage and start their own families, slowly breaking the tradition. But if you think fraternal polyandry is unique, wait until you hear about China's Mosuo tribe, where marriage is completely redefined. The Mosuo tribe, a society without husbands. Deep in the mountainous regions of China, near Tibet, the Mosuo people have a system so unique that it's often called the Kingdom of Women. Unlike traditional marriage, the Mosuo do not have husbands at all. Instead, they follow a practice known as walking marriages. What is a walking marriage? Mosuo women have the freedom to choose and change partners as they please. A man will visit the woman's house at night, but by morning, he must return to his mother's home. There is no formal marriage ceremony, and men do not live with their wives or take on financial responsibility for their children. How are families structured? The mother is the head of the household, controlling all property and decision-making. Uncles, not fathers, raise the children since biological paternity is not emphasized. Men spend their lives in their mother's household instead of their partner's home. This system creates a matriarchal society where women hold the most power. But what happens if a woman decides to settle down with one man? Unlike other cultures, there is no pressure. Women are free to have long-term relationships or continue choosing partners as they wish. Now, let's head to Africa, where certain tribes take a completely different approach to polyandry. Polyandry in Africa. The women who choose multiple husbands. Although rare, polyandry has been documented in certain Kenyan and Nigerian communities. Why does polyandry exist here? Sometimes, a woman inherits multiple husbands when her first husband dies, especially in societies where women hold high social status. In some cases, men agree to share a wife when there are fewer women available for marriage. Women with high economic power can support multiple husbands and households. However, African polyandry is often less structured than in Tibet or Nepal. Some women are even married to men from different tribes, which can lead to complicated power dynamics. And speaking of power, the Amazonian tribes have their own completely different belief about marriage and fatherhood. Polyandry in the Amazon, the idea of multiple fathers. In certain tribes of the Amazon rainforest, there is a belief that a child can have more than one biological father. The logic behind it. These tribes believe that a baby is formed by multiple contributions from different men. A woman sleeps with multiple partners during pregnancy, and each of them is considered the father. This system strengthens community bonds and ensures that the child has multiple male providers for food, protection, and education. This ancient belief system prevents conflict over fatherhood and creates stronger, more cooperative communities. But as the world modernizes, can these traditions survive? The future of polyandry, is it disappearing? As globalization spreads, many polyandrous communities are slowly fading away. Younger generations are moving to cities, adopting modern relationships. Governments are imposing legal restrictions, favoring monogamy over polyandry. Western influence is reshaping traditional family structures. But some argue that polyandry offers a stable, conflict-free alternative to polygamy and modern marriage struggles. What do you think? Would polyandry ever be accepted in modern society? Or is it a tradition that's bound to vanish? Thanks for watching. If you found this video fascinating, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. For more deep dives into rare cultures and traditions, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. And now, I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on polyandry? Could it work in today's world? Let's discuss in the comments below.